Alright, so this video is going to be about two-step inequalities. I just wanted to throw some reminders out there. First of all, the same steps that are true for equations are also true for inequalities. Step one is to always make sure you combine like terms. This is staying on one side of the equal sign. Technically, you can go from one side to the other, but it's just a lot easier if you can just kind of combine everything into one area and then think about going from one side to the other. Step two, adding and subtracting first. Combining like terms, just do this one time. You do not have to do it to everything. Just if there's a 2 on one side and a 5 on the other side of the equal sign, you can bring that 2 over, or you can bring that 5 over by doing its inverse, which is the opposite. So if you see a plus 2, you get rid of it by subtracting 2, and whenever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Then do the same thing with multiplication division. Only difference here, when you're going from one side to the other, you need to make sure that when you multiply or divide, you must do it to every detail. If you do this order, step one combine, step two add subtract, step three multiply divide. If you do it in this order, everything should be set up so it's all in one area to make it a little easier. However, if you happen to skip around, just make sure when you multiply or divide, you must do it to every single term. The last part is just to solve and simplify. Get the variable by itself, plug it in the end, and see if it works out. It should balance out, or at least in this case, inequality should be able to be checked and plug in different numbers on either side of the inequality and see if it works. Some other reminders, make sure you remember your goal is to get the variables by themselves. So if you have multiple, you have to get them combined together. When you add or subtract, must be the like terms. I gave you some examples. 2 and 2 can be combined, a and a, 3x and 2x, 3 and 2/3 and 1.5. Those can be combined because those are their numbers. Those are both the same variables. Just make sure, understand we need to combine those like terms to make it easier. Other ones, when you multiply or divide, must beat everything. And then number 4, when you multiply or divide by a negative from one side to the other, okay, you need to make sure you switch the direction of the inequality. So if it was greater than, it becomes less than, or vice versa. All right. And then some examples. What does this kind of look like? So if you look at letter A, there are no like terms here because this is y divided by -6, and this is plus 7. So technically the -6 is a like term, but we can't do anything when it's in the denominator. So my goal whenever you see a denominator is you need to get rid of it. So the first thing I'm going to be doing on this problem actually is I'm subtracting 7 first. Okay, I'm going to subtract 7 first so I can make it a little easier. 9 minus 7 is 2 over here. So we have y divided by -6 is less than 2. You get rid of divided by -6 by multiplying by -6. There should be a siren going off in your head that anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, you gotta make sure you flip that sign. So I did, and I ended up solving it y is greater than -12. Another example B, this is just making sure you check it. Notice it is open circle at -12. Y is greater than, that's like 0, a million, so you're going right. Over here, again, add or subtract first because there is no like terms to combine right now. 2v and 4 are not like terms. So I'm going to do the inverse, add 4 to both sides. Gives you 2v is greater than or equal to 12. And then we're going to divide by 2 because that's multiplication. It gives you v is greater than or equal to 6. It's going to be a closed circle, and we're going to be shading to the right. Close the window. If you want to go ahead and pause it, here are some ones for you to try. Do those. If you want to, go ahead and pause it now, and then I'm going to release the answers in a second. All right, there you go. All right, so you get some examples for yourself. Example number 2. Okay, this one's going to have variables on both sides. Again, you have to have a goal in mind. You need to have an idea where you want to go, whether you want to move the variables and go left, or you want to move the variables and go to the right. You got to pick which one. It doesn't matter which way. You just got to make sure you pick it and stick to it because your goal is to get all the variables on one side, all the numbers on the other. So in this case here, we're going to add this 5. We're going to move the numbers to the right. So we're adding 5 here and add 5 over here. It means we're going to move the variables to the left here. -5 plus 5 is 0. Good, that's what we wanted to do. 11 plus 5 is 16. Then we're going to subtract 2x from over here, and it'll go over here. So 2x minus 2x is gone. 6x minus 2x is 4x. And then we're going to divide by 4. So x is less than 4. All right. All right. Next one, example 3. All right. Hopefully this one is no different. One thing you got to notice though, whenever you have a number next to parentheses, we got to think of distributive property. So that's my first recommendation. Do you have to do that? No, you don't have to. But you can. This is technically multiplication, so you can get rid of by division if you want to. Just going to make it harder over here. But I just recommend distributive property. So in letter A, the first thing is distributive property. 4 times 2b is 8b, and 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, now it looks kind of like the other ones. Then we're going to subtract 8b from both sides. Okay, and we end up getting negative 3 is pulled down, 12 is come over here. Is negative 3 greater than 12? The answer is no, so in this case, the answer would be no solution. Okay, now there's also another chance it could be true. In this case, it'd be infinite solutions. Let's check the next one. 2 times 5w minus 1. Okay, that should highlight or at least tell you that it needs to be distributive property. So you got 10w minus 2 when you distribute that out. We're subtracting 10w from both sides. End up getting negative 2 is less than or equal to 7. In that case, it's true. So I say all real numbers. Y'all say IMS, infinitely many solutions. Either one's fine. But understand that anything you plug in for w in that case is going to work. All right. And then the last piece of the puzzle, there's one more. Oh, there it is. Give you a chance to kind of pause it here and give you some more practice to check your work and see if you're doing them right. So pause it, and then here's the answers. Let's see a little bigger. All right. Hopefully that helps out.